Wednesday, March 29. The Woman in the Wilderness. Read Revelation chapter 12, verse 6, and compare it to Revelation 12, 14 to 16. Notice carefully the time period, Satan's attack on the woman, God's church, and God's provision for his people. What are these verses talking about? Let's first of all read Revelation 12, verse 6. Then the woman fled into the wilderness, where she has a place prepared by God, that they should feed her there 1,260 days. And verses 14 to 16. But the woman was given 2 wings of a great eagle, that she might fly into the wilderness to her place, where she is nourished for a time, and times, and half a time, from the presence of the serpent. So the serpent spewed water out of his mouth like a flood after the woman, that he might cause her to be carried away by the flood. But the earth helped the woman, and the earth opened its mouth and swallowed up the flood which the dragon had spewed out of his mouth. The 1,260 days in Revelation 12, verse 6 are parallel to the time, times, and half a time in Revelation 12, verse 14. This same time prophecy, describing the same time period, is found in Daniel 7:25, Revelation 11, 2 and 3, and Revelation 13, verse 5. Let's have a look at each of those. Daniel 7:25. He shall speak pompous words against the Most High, shall persecute the saints of the Most High, and shall intend to change times and law. Then the saints shall be given into his hand for a time, and times, and half a time. And Revelation 11, verses 2 and 3. But leave out the court which is outside the temple, and do not measure it, for it has been given to the Gentiles, and they will tread the holy city underfoot for 42 months. And I will give power to my 2 witnesses, and they will prophesy 1,260 days, clothed in sackcloth. And Revelation 13, verse 5. And he was given a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies, and he was given authority to continue for 42 months. Because these are prophetic symbols, a literal woman with wings did not go into the wilderness, we apply prophetic time, the day-year principle. See, for instance, Numbers 14:34 and Ezekiel 4, verses 4 to 6, to these prophecies. So let's look at Numbers 14, verse 34. According to the number of the days in which you spied out the land, 40 days, for each day you shall bear your guilt 1 year, namely 40 years, and you shall know my rejection. And Ezekiel 4, verses 4 to 6. Lie also on your left side, and lay the iniquity of the house of Israel upon it. According to the number of days that you lie on it, you shall bear their iniquity. For I have laid on you the years of their iniquity, according to the number of the days, 3,090 days, so that you shall bear the iniquity of the house of Israel. And when you have completed them, lie again on your right side. Then you shall bear the iniquity of the house of Judah 40 days. I have laid on you a day for each year. This means simply that 1 prophetic day equals 1 year. Commenting on this same prophetic time period in Revelation 11, verse 2, the Andrews Study Bible states, Historicist interpreters, therefore, have generally understood the period of 1,260 prophetic days to mean 1,260 literal years, running from AD 538 to 1798. That's page 1673 in the comments on Revelation 11, verse 2. End of quote. A corrupt church, together with a corrupt state, oppressed, persecuted, and at times slaughtered God's faithful people. This fierce satanic persecution of Bible-believing Christians was an extension of the great controversy between good and evil. Coming out of the darkness of the Middle Ages at the time of the Reformation, men and women were faced with a choice. Would they be faithful to the Word of God, or would they accept the teachings of priests and prelates? Once again, truth triumphed, and God had a people who were faithful to him in the face of mighty opposition. There are some fascinating and extremely encouraging expressions of God's care in these verses. Revelation 12 verse 6 uses the expression, a place prepared by God. Revelation 12:14 declares that the woman was nourished in the wilderness, and Revelation 12:16 declares, the earth helped the woman. At times of severe persecution, God provided for his church. As he did then, he will do the same for his end-time remnant. And so to finish today, describe a time of trial or difficulty in your own life when you could easily have been discouraged, but God provided a place of refuge for you and nourished you in your challenges. How did God provide support when you needed it most? This lesson was read by Dr. Percy Harold for Christian Services for the Blind. Sponsored by the Sabbath School Department and distributed through Hope Channel Australia, this podcast is also redistributed by Hope Channel Germany, Christian Record Services for the Blind. It is also available on SoundCloud and through multiple podcast distributors, including Apple iTunes. And you can listen and watch at the same time on YouTube. Remember, God is always faithful.